Big news coming out of the Formula 1 world this weekend. It appears that once more, Lancia's promised B-Spec Formula 1 car has been delayed. Yes, both Matt Beard and Daniel Ricciardo very, very unhappy with the situation, but the team have guaranteed that the parts will be on the car when they return to Europe for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix next month. The team still struggling for overall performance, however 22 points have left them 5th place over on the Constructors' Championship heading into the Albert Park circuit this weekend. But let's head down then ready for the Australian Grand Prix.
Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome back to round 3 of the F123 Lancia Career Mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Australian Grand Prix, and of course, as mentioned in the intro, unfortunately we are still waiting on the B-Spec car. We're getting very, very frustrated now. The lead times are taking much, much longer than we'd ever hoped for. And as you can see, heading into this weekend, we've had yet another part failure on the power unit side of things. The fuel injection system, the team didn't feel confident enough to run it this weekend, so we're going to have even more upgrades waiting for the next race out in Imola. 4 upgrades we are now waiting for to get on the car, and we might be able to get a 5th by the time this weekend has got underway. And as you can see, it is really, really holding us back in terms of performance there. You know, your Red Bulls, your Aston Martins and your Alpines all right up at the front of the order there, and we know that we can be fighting with them as well for Grand Prix victories. Of course, that being said, opening couple of races, we have been mighty consistent, which has seen us all the way up into P3 of the championship. George Russell, 2 wins on the bounce, means he is comfortably leading both championships by himself after the first couple of races of the campaign. Ferrari have probably been the biggest disappointment, 10 points so far after the opening couple of rounds, but I'm sure they will kick on strong. But as we head to the land down under this weekend, we want to try and continue on that good haul and hopefully showcase that even with a car that's not quite there yet, we can still fight for top positions. Quickly though, before we get into this video, I want to thank all of the names you see on your screen. Without their continued support of the channel, none of the work we do here would be possible. And if you want to get your name featured on this list, you can click the join button or click the Patreon link down in my description below and support the channel from just £1 a month. You will also get access to weekly updates about everything going on behind the scenes, and also occasionally some early previews on videos. So yeah, a massive thank you to my YouTube members and my Patreon supporters, and let's get back to the video. Well, here we are then, back in Albert Park, Australia. Probably was actually my toughest race that I think we did last season. We had an absolute disaster here in Melbourne, so hoping that we don't end up with the same luck this weekend. But yeah, obviously qualifying day on Saturday, so we haven't got many sprint races as well this year. That was by design. It must also be added there, but yeah, obviously Daniel Ricciardo, his home Grand Prix as well, so I'm sure he'd love to try and finally get his first points of the year. Hasn't really had the luck so far in this campaign. Mechanical issues really did dog him last time out in Saudi Arabia. But of course, we're really focused on what we can do here still. You know, Danny Rick, hopefully he's going to serve as a good number 2 this season. But, you know, we are definitely the number 1 driver within this team. Making our way then through the final couple of corners. Let's just try and make sure that we get a good first time on the board. Gasly has done a 1:18 there, so Alpine clearly struggling a bit. We do a 1:17.6. But yeah, this new short format qualifying session putting quite a few people under pressure. George Russell only down in 8th place. 1 minute left then on the clock here in qualifying, and it's Ferrari's newest signing, Lewis Hamilton, who has once again topped the timing screens at the moment. However, everyone else now is going for their final lap in anger. Lando Norris looks racy in his McLaren car. Ricciardo, as well as had a pretty good showing all the way up in P14. That, however, is not a good showing by me down at turn 4. We need to try and tidy this lap up, as we've already lost there a good half a second. Trying to find time back up then around this lap is not particularly easy, simply because there's not many corners to do it in. So yeah, 4 tenths down at the moment as we navigate our way through the fast chicane, down 1 gear on the entry, leave it pinned in 7th on the exit. It's going to claw us a little bit of time back, but you can see other drivers improving. We might end up getting dropped way down the order. See there, Daniel Ricciardo even going quicker than me. So as soon as I state that we're the #1 driver, Ricciardo tries to get his own back here. Valtteri Bottas out of nowhere up in a pole position. We do find all the time back, but it is P16 on the grid here for the Australian Grand Prix. Well, this is really what the new qualifying format provides there. Lots of late session changes, and you need to get that second lap in if you want any chance at the front of the field there. But it is Valtteri Bottas, McLaren's new signing there, that takes pole position away from Lewis Hamilton, the former Mercedes duo locking out the front row. I'm sure that'll be very, very popular here in Albert Park, especially for the man with a mullet. But yeah, further down the order for us, Ricciardo pipped me by a 1/10 and a half at the end of the qualifying. We line up P16 on the grid between, Theo Pourchaire and just ahead of Nico Hülkenberg. Quickly though, before we get into that, I want to talk about today's video sponsor, Moser. Yes, Moser provides some of the best value and just simply best quality sim racing equipment out there for those of you on the PC platform. They've got a huge variety of steering wheels, wheelbases and pedals, and I've worked with them for the last couple of years. Truth be told, if I was only racing on PC, I would probably be using their products exclusively. If you're interested in purchasing any of their equipment, I will leave a link down in the description below, and if you click through there, you also help support the channel at no extra cost to yourself. It really does make a difference.
This circuit missed a few years off the F1 calendar, and we missed Albert Park. So welcome back, and it's great to be back in Melbourne. Welcome to the Australian Grand Prix. The Melbourne circuit is certainly one that needs to be taken seriously. It's a combination of slippery surfaces and difficult corners, making it a very tricky track when it comes to overtaking. Drivers find it hard to pass and will need to take full advantage of those DRS zones if they want to have any hope of breaking through. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Russell, Verstappen, Ocon, Gasly, Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, Magnussen, Sainz, Tsunoda, Perez, Albon, Ricciardo, Firestarter, Theo Pourchaire, Hülkenberg, Liam Lawson, Joe, Iwasa and Logan Sargent. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. And a warm welcome, of course, to my co-commentator here today, it's Natalie Pinkham. Now I want to ask you about Valtteri Bottas.
What a quality performance. The big question, though, is how does that translate on race day? Can they hold on to that lead? I'm also looking forward to seeing the different strategies in play today. Those who are starting on the red mark soft tyre are going to have a little bit more grip early on, but they have to make it count before the degradation starts to set in.
Well, here we are then, ready for the Australian Grand Prix, and well, if we'd been able to nail that second qualifying lap, easily could have found ourselves up inside the top 10 there. But 29 laps of Albert Park ahead of me. I think we're going to have to go aggressive on the tyres and just see how well they last early on in the race. They're soft tyres to mediums, but of course safety cars are very, very common as well here in Albert Park, Australia. Waiting then on those 5 red lights here in Melbourne. It's a mighty long hole, but it is finally lights out and away we go then. Not if you're Daniel Ricciardo or Yuki Tsunoda. We'll actually get a pretty good launch. Don't say that very often. And immediately try and look to go side by side with Alex Albon in towards turn 1 there. The Porsche of Sergio Perez gets around the outside of Magnussen through that first corner as well. And it looks like Bottas has been able to hang on to the lead. And Lando Norris has moved himself up into P2 there, down the inside of Kevin. In through the next couple of corners, who tries to give me a bit of a squeeze there. Those Aston Martin Hondas not kicking off as well as their pace in theory would dictate so far this season. Maybe needing a more #1 driver, obviously after Fernando Alonso decided to hang up the gloves for a second time. But Albon, though, in that Lamborghini Williams. Clearly, that thing's got some straight line speed there. Here he goes down the inside. And, well, just lap 1, but already making moves forward and getting overtaken by the AI as well. There is Sonoda. Kind of made a very half-hearted attempt to keep the car on the inside. So we navigate our way through the fast chicane. Looks like we've survived there. Well, let's ride on board then with Lando Norris at the start of this race. 5 red lights coming on. He's got both of those former Mercedes drivers in front of him. And you can just see Hamilton and Bottas not getting off to a particularly bad start, but maybe just a little bit too worried about each other as they make their way in towards someone. And look at that, Lando Norris will just say thank you very much there. And while we've seen a less experienced McLaren driver go around the outside of his teammate there at turn 1 before, and Lando Norris, shades of Alonso, with Lewis Hamilton all those years ago, straight to the front of the pack. Well, Lando Norris then, yeah, taking the lead of the Grand Prix on lap 1, so got a massively good start against his teammate there, and, well, Mercedes, I'm sure, watching on as George Russell, championship leader, a little bit further down the order. Remember, any driver that has won the opening 3 Grand Prix of a season has always gone on to win the World Championship, and it looks like the Mercs are actually side by side there and causing a rather large train behind.
Okay, mate, we might need to look at a new race strategy after that. I've got some options for you, so go and check your MFD.
Wonderful. I mean, I don't get why the AI are braking so early. They just Constantina up. And now we are in massive trouble then as Sainz and Ocon side by side through the final couple of corners. But we're going to have to make a very, very early switch then to the medium tyres. And, well, last year's Grand Prix here was a bit of a disaster. This year's might not be much better then. Into the pits we go. We certainly can't take the mediums to the end of the afternoon, unless the tyre wear is much better than we anticipated. But, yeah, we're going to be a long, long way back now as the team's struggling to get the wing on the car.
Okay, let's go now. Come on. Perfect.
8-second pit stop.
The crew there, mate. We're delighted with that. Okay, 1 stop to go. Just 1 stop left in this strategy.
Boy, oh boy, yeah, now, suddenly, we need a miracle. Well, I guess the good thing is, even though we are miles behind, we've definitely about a second a lap faster at least than the back market AI, so maybe we're still going to have the pace to get back in this fight towards the end of the afternoon. But those of you that, you know, watch this channel regularly, you know, if I make a mistake, I make a mistake. If we crash into someone, we crash into someone. We don't need any of those rewinds to try and spice up a race artificially. Well, I had quietly set myself the goal of trying to score points in every single Grand Prix this season. That might suddenly be a lot more difficult this weekend unless we get a safety car or something like that. But yeah, it looks like once again though, seems to be Verstappen that is able to get himself to the front of the order there. But McLaren this weekend really have brought something special. It actually serves as a rather stark contrast as well to those opening 2 races. Pretty much felt like in both Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, we were fighting other cars pretty much all day. So we got someone pulled over to the wayside. It's a Merc, it's Russell. George Russell, our first retirement of the day then. So Mercedes, their race winner in both round 1 and round 2. He is not going to make it 3 in a row. Russell is our first retirement of the day. Well, George Russell then, really not in familiar territory so far this season, and as he makes his way out of turn 5, power unit's just gone on him there, big puff of smoke, and George Russell is going to be our first retirement of the afternoon. Well, already then at 1/3 distance this afternoon, we are almost back with Logan Sargent, so honestly, I feel like this could have been a whole lot worse than it has turned out early on this afternoon. I mean, as always, the point, of course, well, the goal, sorry, is always try and score points still in this championship, but that might be difficult to come by today. Well, loads of AI then into the pits at the end of lap 12, so Hulkenberg maybe trying to just undercut a few people with a bit of a risky strategy, otherwise seemingly just struggling a bit with his tyre wear.
I think you're going to start losing some tyre grip any time now.
The problem is we're still probably a pit stop behind
Approaching the pit window, and you're going to be
the
on
drivers that are going to be scoring points this afternoon, as, well, this might be the first time all day then, at pretty much half distance, that I actually get some DRS. Oh, a little bit of a mistake there, ran slightly wide. Carlos Sainz, he'll say thank you very much, and re-inherit P15 as Magnussen completes a similar move on Logan Sargent. This is all getting very, very congested though As we make our way through the final couple of turns, Perez is going to just sit in behind the American. So we'll go back down the inside there with a very, very aggressive move through the final corner.
Daniel's in the pits.
Ricardo into the pit lane then, so we might just move ourselves inside the top 10. We've got other cars again heading out of the pit lane here. Oh, Sargent there just broke a little bit early. I wanted to try and switch Gasly off the exit there, as we might once again be vulnerable to Carlos Sainz and Esteban Ocon here. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, I'm so sorry, Logan. I'm so sorry. Just went way too deep into turn 2, into turn 3 even. And we are just not having a day of it in terms of slowing down around other cars. Oh, we have got yellows out again. One of the McLarens now going slowly. Who else is pulling over to the wayside in this Grand Prix? I believe that might be Bottas. Pole sitter Valtteri Bottas is out of the Grand Prix there. And 2 Mercedes power units going up in smoke this weekend. What a disappointment. As we get a big slide out of turn 1. Still doesn't look like we're going to get a safety car from any of these, as Perez now will try and again have a look round my outside. Their contact with, Carlos Sainz, isn't it, of course? As, yep, Bottas then. I mean, he was definitely out of the Grand Prix. We're still side by side with Sainz through the next couple of corners, but we are getting way too ragged. Oh, here comes Alex Albon at Lamborghini. We saw it at the start. It's got a lot of straight line speed. Of course, we also had a good look at his diffuser as well while I creamed into the back of it, but yeah, I cannot believe that Lando Norris comfortable out front. But Bottas, our second casualty of the day. Oh, no, 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 no. Great, great. Yeah, of course. VSC immediately. I'm so sorry, Yuki. Just dropped the nose there and dropped the rear off that corner. And, well, we have caused even more problems for the AI in this Grand Prix. We are just having a nightmare. I mean, it gives us a good chance to get another pit stop in. Oh, safety. How is it already ending? Oh, dearie me. Well, Albert Park just seems to be the place I have nightmares then inside this season. Just inside this game. I cannot, for the life of me, get a good race hooked up around this venue. Another front wing going on the wagon. Another set of the medium compound tyres. I'm not sure what Sonoda's got planned on the softs.
Right, let's go. Come on. That was a fantastic stop. Faster than we were expecting. Look after these
so
tyres
annoyed.
now. You want to finish the race on this compound.
I'm just annoyed with myself, man. We're making too many mistakes today. Sonoda, new fast lap of the day. Hulkenberg in for a second pit stop of the afternoon. So we might not be in last for too much longer as we'll come out side by side. Oh, with the Haas driver there. Just kind of had to decide last moment that I was going to go for it. And we'll move back up then into P19 of this race. Well, I've got no idea what is happening down in towards the final couple of corners. It looks like there is a pretty much a tea party going on between every backmarker car. Luckily, of course, with the way F1 works out at the moment, that's half the teams are backmarkers. So as we're now all over the back of Logan Sargent once again. I think, however, though, it only goes up to P11, this group, as one of the V-Carbs makes their way up. You can see side by side, though. I honestly thought then I was going into the back of Sargent. The AI... Why, when they're in a train like that, does a car 6 cars back suddenly decide to brake so early into every corner? As Hulkenberg now trying to show his teammate how it's done. The German overtakes the American. Let's not forget as well, of course, this penalty is going to end up ruining any chance we've got, unless we can somehow fly through this group and still leave them to fight each other as well. Sargent, you left the door open. We've got to try and go for it. There is Danny Rick still all the way down. Whoa, in P16, as that is a lot of curb. So we make our way off the exit there. Oh, Hulkenberg again. Seemingly the man on the move. This time around we're going to try and pull out the slipstream, but what on earth is this? In towards the final few corners, we'll reclaim P18 off of the Hulk. We'll have a look down the inside of Zhou. I'm just not driving well today. For whatever reason, I cannot figure the brakes out on this car at the moment. Like, the way we just locked up then and just lazily drove into the side of Zhou is really, really poor. I'm still going to keep the place, though, of course, as Hulkenberg now... Sorry, Lawson even and Esteban Ocon there, just up in front, going side by side through the first couple of corners. Teo Porcher fancies his chances against his former F2 rival. It is all kicking off at the moment. We'll go around the outside of Danny Rick in the process. And, well, I think Lawson was trying to tuck back in behind Porcher. I was trying to make sure he didn't get the opportunity to. We're back into P15 then. There is so much going on late on in this race, as now we might be able to get a run on Porcher and Esteban Ocon here. Looks like Sonoda and I assume, yeah, it must be a Watser, isn't it? A little bit further up, have broken free. Please give me some room. That's a very, very bold double overtake, but we have completed it. Please don't, towards the end of this race, have a mechanical failure. And also very important then, we have got at the range of Ocon, and immediately we've gained 2 seconds there. Maybe this 5-second penalty won't come back to haunt me. Well, 3 laps to go then. The gap to Lawson up over 4 seconds now, but he might just have broke free from Esteban Ocon behind him. We've got Awasa and Sonoda now. It's the battle of the Japanese drivers just in front. Looks like neither of them, though, are going to score a point for their troubles. But yeah, we are just really struggling with front brakes. On to the final lap then of the Australian Grand Prix. Little Lando Norris, he didn't have the pace over his teammate Bottas in qualifying, but stole the lead away on lap 1, and really since then has never looked back. McLaren clearly have found something in their car this weekend, and Lando Norris is going to be our second winner of the season, and you know, it's a very short run, but it is going to end George Russell's run at the front there. Verstappen P2, which I believe will leave him tied with Russell in the championship there. Oscar Piastri, the homeboy, is going to get a podium as well. So fantastic driving by Mercedes' newest recruit to lead home both of those Ferraris when all is said and done. But for me personally, really, really disappointed with the way I've driven today. Albert Park, I don't know what it is. It seems to bring out the worst in me inside F123, and that's a real shame there. Never really looked like we were going to score points. Messed up on Saturday, messed up on Sunday. We're lucky that we're even bringing home a potential P13 here. That one is one not to write home about.
Another superb Australian Grand Prix comes to an end then, and it's a thoroughly deserved victory. So Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
Well, confidence breeds confidence. Success breeds success. They are very much enjoying a purple patch right now.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be McLaren picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for that fantastic performance. Let's see how the driver standings have changed. Our championship leader is still sat at the top of the standings, but their rivals have made up some solid ground today. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Natalie Pinkham, come on, who do you pick?
I think for driver of the day, I'd probably pick Lando Norris. He lived up to every inch of his reputation today, and I think he'll be going home, quite rightly, a bit proud of himself.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. No change in the top spot then, but with today's points, their hold on that lead is getting weaker. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend for them as they fight their way towards the top. Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well, there we are then, the end of the Australian Grand Prix, and Lando Norris take a bow there. A fantastic result by the McLaren driver to walk away with the victory. Max Verstappen P2, of course, one of Lando's best friends, and Oscar Piastri, his former teammate there, gets a home race podium. Is that the first ever Australian podium here in Albert Park? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments below. Hamilton, once again, Ferrari just lacking a bit of race pace there. Charles Leclerc made some progress, but was unhappy with his result on Saturday night. Magnussen in P6 there, ahead of Gasly, Sainz. Albon gets some points for Williams, and yeah, Porsche get another point on the board, courtesy of Sergio Perez. We beat out Liam Lawson by just half a tenth come the checkered flag there, so it was very, very tight. And yeah, Daniel Ricciardo, again, just not really delivering when it matters there. Bottas and Russell are 2 retirements from this afternoon's running, but unfortunately that means for us we drop all the way back down to P6 in the drivers' table there. As we guessed, Verstappen and Russell now tied on points at the top. Lando and Oscar, though, not a million miles away either. And, well, already we've had a whole host of drivers scoring points early on this season there. I think it's just Haas and AlphaTauri are the only teams yet to score as well. But thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we will return very soon when Formula 1 returns to the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix.